Hello, deep sea divers, mermaids, and pirates. This week we are talking about informational nonfiction. And just a quick reminder, informational nonfiction means that it's about a specific event or a specific thing where it differs from biographical nonfiction because it is not the whole story of someone's life. So our study of Ruby Bridges, that is a specific thing that happened in time. It's not her whole life story. So because of that, it is an informative nonfiction instead of a biographical nonfiction, even though it's about a person, just so you know. Keep that in mind. So the book I've decided to present today is Humphrey the Lost Whale. Now this book came into my hands because my son won any book at a book walk instead of a cakewalk at a school event. And I was there and he chose this one and I kind of rolled my eyes and went, out of all these books they have, this is the one that you have chosen to get. And I said, are you sure you want that one? And he absolutely wanted it. Well, it's a good thing he got it because he loved it, absolutely loved it, wanted to listen to it every night for several weeks. And so I bring that up because sometimes something that we think children won't like is what they do like, because this was real and I kind of thought, oh, I'm sure he'll like some other kind of fictional story better, but he didn't. This is what he liked. So keep that in mind. So Humphrey the Lost Whale is about a true story about this whale, and his name is Humphrey, obviously, and he somehow, actually I was going to read just the first page or so to you. Our story begins on a sunny day far out at sea. A pod of humpback whales was traveling south together for the winter. Humpback whales are magnificent creatures that sing beautiful songs to each other underwater. In the whole world, there are very few of them, so each one is quite special. And they are intelligent. Every winter they travel south. Every summer they head north, and they always know the way. I'm just going to read you one last paragraph. But even whales can make mistakes. One named Humphrey made a big one. He turned away from his friends and wandered under the Golden Gate Bridge into the San Francisco Bay. So what happens is, as detailed in the story, is Humphrey, he veers away from his friends and he somehow manages to swim upstream in a freshwater stream. And then the stream starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller as it gets away from the ocean. And clearly he's a saltwater animal. He cannot live in the fresh water. It's getting too small for him. He's ginormous. And even at the beginning, it has this little map of how he traveled all the way up the Sacramento River and to this tiny little, basically, canal where he was too big, and he gets stuck. And so, he would die if he didn't get back to the ocean. And so scientists are trying to figure out what to do. So they play the sound of whales eating backwards towards the ocean, and then they bang pots and pans to try and get him, to scare him away from that area. And of course, there's more issues, and he can't fit under a bridge that he already swam under, and so that's kind of the climax of the story, is when he manages to get past the bridge that he was, and it was stuck. So that's basically the story, and eventually he goes back and he is back in the ocean again. So this is informative nonfiction. It is real. It is up to date if we're looking at our criteria. It's up to date. This book is a little old, but the story didn't change after it had happened, and it didn't have, so it followed the criteria for being a informative nonfiction. So some ways that I thought of to get children involved. There are a million with this, especially I think since it's nonfiction. Well, you could use these same things if it was a fictional story about a whale. But first of all, what I thought of, is you can play the song of a whale.
Male humpback whales repeat each other's songs and add to them so they become ever more complex and beautiful, showing off their memory as well as sheer volume.
Oh, I just love that. I know it's just such a short little clip, and it, if you were in a classroom or a home setting, you could keep watching that. But I loved it. It was just, it showed how they sing. It showed how beautiful they are and ginormous. So being able to study some other things in depth would be super fun. So we've got study the whale in general. You could listen to how they sing. You could even make a song like a whale. You could talk about their size, what they eat. And then, in addition to that, you could study the San Francisco Bay Area. You could talk about the water there. There's the Alcatraz Island. There's tons of animals there. You could study the difference between fresh and salt water. You could study other sea mammals and sea creatures. So you could even see what temperature a stream upstream would be compared to the ocean. In it, the Golden Gate Bridge is there, and he swims under it. You could talk about the Golden Gate Bridge, and you could even make a bridge out of found materials. So I was pleasantly surprised by when I opened my mind to the fact that books like this, true stories, information nonfiction, children can really connect with them, and especially when you can say to them, this really happened. This is real. And I actually looked up to show you clips of news clips from when it happened, and they were really old because it was in 1983, and they weren't the best quality, so I didn't want to make you suffer through that. But that's something that you could see, and you could read news articles and real things and say, hey, this really happened, and scientists figured out how to save this whale's life by using logic. Anyway, so keep that in mind. Keep an open mind in general about information nonfiction, especially for the children in your life who might not connect with fiction as well as they connect with real world application. So let me know if you have any questions or comments, or if you have any experiences with informative nonfiction that you'd like to share. Let us know. I would love to hear your stories of your learning. So anyway, I look forward to seeing your presentations and chatting with you all.